What's up, Laura?
Well, hi. How's it going?
It's going. You know, hey, today we are getting away from musicians for an episode. How about that?
That's okay. I'll take it. I love our musician guests here.
Well, I want to talk a little real estate. I want to talk about the housing market. So we brought in our area expert, Mr. Rob Brown, in studio. What's going on, Rob?
Not much. How are y'all doing?
And we're doing great, man.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming to the show.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I mean, I knew if there was a guy to talk about real estate, you're the guy.
Thank you.
Well, how was the drive up here, man?
Crystal clear, no issues. Yeah, it was good. No, traffic on 85 is not that bad. So
you got a full tank of gas?
I did get a full tank of gas this morning. I filled up.
And when you drive out here, you got to make sure you got a full tank.
That's right.
You don't know if you're going to find a gas station that's got, I would say there's a gas station with $2.05 gas that a friend of mine told me about this morning, but it was diesel. But
do you drive a diesel
As it
engine?
turns out, I do not.
Nope.
Just straight gasoline.
Sorry about that. You're paying $3 full dollars for your fuel per gallon.
I got a great deal this morning at $2.91. I was feeling good about myself.
Oh, wow. The one down here just went up to $3.11.
I'm just going to go cry in a corner.
Well, how about when you drive a Jeep that gets 15.5 miles per gallon?
I'm just going to tell you, and I'm just going to throw this out there. It's the way you drive.
What do you mean?
It's the way you drive.
Yeah, those vehicles normally get about 40 miles a gallon.
Okay, chill.
Right.
I get 21. I also drive a Jeep Wrangler, and it is about half the size of your Gladiator. However, I feel like we're talking 5 miles difference here.
And he's got the bigger tires to spin and all that good stuff. Makes a huge difference.
But I promise it's also the way he drives.
That's okay.
I don't drive fast at all.
Yeah.
I'm like 65,
but he's
70.
very brakey. He brakes hard and then he gasses hard.
I was just going to ask if hitting the brake hard was going to adjust your fuel mileage, but thank you for clarifying.
Well, it will when you gas hard after braking hard.
I'm getting the full picture
There's
here now.
There's no smooth transition from stop to go with this one. It's just boom, we're going. And I feel like that has a lot to do with your fuel economy.
I don't know, man. She says I'm a bad driver, but
I've never said you're a bad driver.
No,
I just
you
have
are constantly,
crippling anxiety in your passenger seat.
She's the first one that throws the arm seatbelt out. Just for me tapping the brakes. If I happen to look out the window for 5 seconds and the car stops in front of me, just hits their brake lights, she's arm seatbelting. And then Michael, and I'm like, oh my God.
Kim rides around most days with her eyes closed in the car. So. She does not like my driving sometimes, I don't think.
I'm just saying, there's a way you drive, and the way you drive, has a way of kind of inducing a great deal of existential crisis in people.
So what you're saying is you can't sleep while I'm driving?
Yeah, I would say in a nutshell, in a very,
See, I've actually seen you sleep while I drive.
underwhelming.
So-
When have I slept while you were driving?
Oh, coming back from Georgia.
Okay, well...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got a nap.
That
Yeah,
was...
come on.
I don't know. Did I nap? Or was I just let me just place myself in a catatonic state so I can avoid the panic attack that comes with being a passenger?
I don't know because I was too busy not trying to kill us to pay attention to you.
And there you have it, kids, the bare minimum.
So I like everybody making fun of me about wanting to buy a Tesla now. Now look, I wish
But
I
did
need
you
one.
see the picture of the Tesla that had, I don't know, 5 or 6?
I saw that.
Yes.
The gas cans on the back of it.
Gas cans on the back, and I'm like, you're becoming the thing that you swore to eradicate.
I have not seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find it. I'll dig it up.
I have seen the one of the. It was a lady filling up grocery bags.
Oh,
the
I've also
plastic
seen
bags.
a laundry
Plastic
basket.
bags.
The laundry basket was
Yes.
classic. I gotta say, I pray that some of that stuff is fake. But,
I think the laundry bag. I saw that this morning. I think that's fake.
But then did you see the guy that did actually fill up a tote and then put it in his Hummer, and it exploded? So like it literally destroyed it. So
wow.
In the Hummer without a cover should be fine, right? The Hummer that is diesel, by the way.
Well, kids, if you don't have crippling anxiety about the future of our planet, well, here you have it. Welcome to Hammer, and this is what we do.
That just shows you the human race is devolving in some sort of fashion.
Yes.
Yeah. Grocery bags, really. All right, let's get to the topic at hand. We're going to talk real estate with Rob today. So before we start this, Rob, I want you to look at this video. I'm sure you've seen it. It's gone viral on YouTube, and especially TikTok, I think is where it originated from. This guy's name is Johnson, I believe. It's on the video. I'll show it to you right here.
This is a treat.
Excuse
we
me,
never
is that apple for
the
sale?
show.
Yeah, we're about to put it on sale right now, actually. Well, I'm in the market, so tell me about your apple. Why should I buy it? Nice try. Okay, people, here's how this is going to work. I have an apple here. The highest bidder's going home with this. I want all bids in the next 2 minutes, then we're closing it. Bidding starts at $5.
Feeling pretty confident there, huh? I mean, don't you think...
$10.
He said starting at 5.
15. Is this a new apple? Yeah, just listed. I'm pre-qualified. I'll pay cash. I got cash. 20. 30. 40. No, just make it 45.
Is it even worth that?
50. I don't know. Please, this is the 8th apple I've tried to buy.
Could I at least see it up close?
Nope, it's an apple. You know what it is. You either want it or you don't. I'll take it for 100.
What? I'm from California. It's the cheapest apple I've ever seen.
120.
Why did I do that? Why? I don't.
There you have it.
And that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So, is that video pretty accurate the way the market is right now?
It's pretty accurate. My last 2 listings honestly didn't even hit the market. I had them listed as coming soon, and we had crazy offers way over asking before it even hit the market. So, and in that situation, people can't even go in and see the house until we actually have a signed contract and accepted contract and stuff. So it's sight unseen, way over asking. My last one, they voided all, contingencies on inspections. They said they would cover any shortage in the appraisal. They just didn't care. They wanted to get the house.
Why? Why is it like this now? What happened?
Well, it's not just a North Carolina or Raleigh problem. It's a national problem. We have a shortage of houses to buy right now. So across the country.
What's causing the shortage?
Many things. So, I think COVID was a big problem in that. So, here in North Carolina, we couldn't even show houses for a couple months in Durham County and stuff. So there's a backlog of people that normally would buy that just, didn't. And then there's also a backlog of people that normally would sell that just didn't. So I think they've started to come together now. And it's really starting to boom the market. And by start, it's been going on. But here in Raleigh, we've actually had a shortage for, years even before the pandemic. So, price is high, supply is low. It's obviously going to drive the cost of real estate way up. So typically, we have 3 to 4 million houses listed across America for sale at any time. We're down under 1 million right now, to give you kind of an idea. Here in Raleigh, in the Triangle, there's usually 6, 7, 8,000 houses actively on the market at any time. We're down to like 1,700. So
what I'm hearing is the fuel crisis that we in this past weekend experienced is exactly what's happening in the housing market
right
as we speak.
100%.
So people are panic buying houses. It's
not a panic. I think it's just a shortage problem. So, it's people are just buying houses and there's a backlog. So, think during COVID, nobody moved. We had a whole year and we still have a whole time now that people still don't feel comfortable, people coming in their houses and, all that. And we have people that want to potentially move and, buy houses, and they just don't have that opportunity, So, think of COVID when all the, this time, during a normal year, we'd have people that are older, retirees that are moving into, nursing homes and all that. That's all gone away for obvious reasons. Nursing homes were the hardest hit during COVID. So, there's a lot of factors that play into that, so...
So, for the Raleigh market particularly, this is, if I'm not mistaken, the Raleigh market is the second fastest growing area in the United States.
That's correct, right?
When did that start? Because I've been here off and on 5 years. What happened?
I mean, it's the growth of North Carolina. It's a great tax-friendly state. It's a growth state, a tech area. If you look at other parts of the country that are big tech areas, we're still super affordable compared to those areas for sure. So, IBM came here in the 80s and 90s. If you look around, I mean, that's when the huge influx started was, the 90s and stuff, of course. But and then more and more people move here. We had, before the pandemic, we had around 300 people a day move into the Triangle every single day. So.
And you sold houses to all 300.
Every single one of them. It was amazing.
He's so a busy
great.
Guy.
Yeah, wear many hats,
Truly blessed.
Yeah.
That's an insane number, because if you've got 300 moving in every day, or at least 300 moving out every day.
Well, that's a moving in, and yeah, of course you're going to have some moving out, the same idea. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about. And during the pandemic, Florida had up of 1,500 to 2,000 people moving there a day. So give you kind of an idea where their market is compared to, here. So, and, across the country, the big places that are not growing and that are actually shrinking in population, New York City, San Francisco, the big cities, COVID, the expensive housing market, people are trying to get out of the big cities and so they can find affordable housing, a little bit less congested, especially now that people can work from home. It makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that was exactly what I was about to ask. There's whole families, at this point, and not just singles anymore. It used to be like the young, single, newly graduated tech guy was moving to Raleigh, getting his entry-level job at IBM. Now we have whole families relocating. And that was kind of my question was like, where are they coming from? Because family growth is not as rapid as the movement growth.
Right.
So people just are not having babies anymore, and I don't blame anybody.
No.
I'm one of those people not having babies. So when we have people moving to areas like Raleigh that are expanding at an unprecedented rate, where are they coming from? There's got to be a population elsewhere that's shrinking. So New York City, San Francisco.
Well, and I think everywhere in the Northeast especially. I mean, you just ask around. I mean, everybody's here, not everybody, but there's a huge population of people here that are from Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, all those states that are super high taxes, terrible weather, no jobs. They're coming down here where there's great jobs, great weather, great opportunity.
Oh, let's just call it like it is, too. There's a lot of people unhappy politically in those states. A lot of people don't like the governors in California and New York.
Sure.
And that's just a couple of, I don't know, I think they're pretty big factors for a lot of these people, especially California.
Yeah.
People leaving Los Angeles, they're saying Los Angeles is unlivable now because of all the homeless.
Homeless folks, yeah.
There's like a city inside Los Angeles of just homeless people.
Right.
What's it, the slum? What's it called out there?
I know what you're talking about, but yeah, it's great.
Skid Row.
Skid Row,
yes.
Right. How could I forget Skid Row?
How do you forget Skid Row?
It's a great rap group.
Sebastian Bach.
No, I'm sorry.
Very
I
offended.
said rap group. Whoops.
Yep. Sebastian Bach is doubly offended. We'll be waiting for Sebastian Bach's rap album here any second now.
So, obviously the big growing areas right now in this country are the southeast of America, the south, Texas, Austin, and Dallas are seeing huge growth. Florida and the Carolinas, the highest growth, or growth with people moving in. So,
and that also shows in the Senate seats. I know California and New York lost one. Mm-hmm. Texas, Florida, and North Carolina gained one.
Yep, exactly right.
That's a good projection of what our population's looking like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
sure.
What I see, you got your notebook open over there. What are you looking at?
No, I'm just trying to make sure I'm covering some notes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I like to just make sure.
So, what's the most expensive house you've sold? Am I allowed to ask that?
Yeah, no, you can. 500-ish. I've sold a few of those in that range. So.
Wow.
Okay.
Listing and buying. So.
Why did the housing prices skyrocket? Like, why can? Well, to use my house as an example. I paid $186 for mine 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I did a Zillow estimate on it, and right now,
which are always 100% accurate.
Hey, I'm telling you,
no, it's fine.
It might be
a good,
down. Yeah,
I mean, it's a good gauge, at least a little bit, right?
But it says I could sell it right now for $260. That's what it's worth. But like you were saying earlier, people are putting houses on the market now. Let's say I put mine up for $260. People are bidding and giving cash for like $20,000 over that. And I even had one real estate agent tell me that, you know, some people are putting thousands down on escrow.
Yeah, and due diligence money.
Due diligence. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I just had working with a buyer. We were bidding on, it was a $400,000 house in Apex, beautiful house. We put an offer in at $430 with $10,000 due diligence and like super quick closing. Like everything else was great. They were going to cover any shortage in the appraisal, and we didn't get it. And so I called the other agent. I said, hey, you know, I know you can't tell me what it actually is under contract for until it closes, but where were we in that, you know, number? And she said, well, we had like about 30 something other offers, and we were middle of the road, like 16 or 17. And I'm like, like, what are you supposed to do? I mean, you know.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of factors in that, you know. So the National Association of Realtors says that we are in a 15% increase since last year in housing in the country, not just here. So in Raleigh, let me find my notes here.
I just so appreciate how prepared he is. This is precious.
The average sale has gone up $50,000 in the last year here in the Triangle, and in the last month, or in the last 3 months, it's up another $13,000 on average. So the average price of a home in the whole Triangle right now is $374,000.
So this is basically putting home buyers like me in this state where I'm in limbo. I could sell this house. I could make $50,000-$60,000 off of it,
or more, sure.
Said and done. But where am I going?
Yeah.
You know, I can't. So I live and die on the VA loan. That's not happening anymore.
It is, honestly, and that's a big misconception. I work with veterans all the time. Actually, one of my last closings was a VA loan. You know, it's not just the VA loan. There's so many different factors. It's having a good realtor that has a good relationship with other realtors. I think is a great big thing for us. Nobody wants to work with somebody that's, you know, kind of a pain in the butt. I find that a lot, you know, and I'm pretty easygoing or whatever. You know, high due diligence will separate people. And actually, the last VA loan, we were walking out the door, and I looked down, and there was an Air Force floor mat right there. So I made that connection, and I rolled the dice, and I kind of said to the other agent, hey, my guy's a vet too. I'm assuming yours is, and I know they're going to get another VA loan for their next house, and made those connections and did all that, and it worked out for us, you know. So a VA loan doesn't necessarily leave people out. That's a big misconception. Same with FHA loans. People are like, oh, we're not taking them. Yeah, of course, when problems arise in real estate, it's typically because of financing. So cash is always going to be king with anything, you know, of course. But, you know, with some ways around things, some better guarantees, some, you know, addendums, stuff like that, where, you know, it just makes it more favorable to the seller, you can still get into houses. It's not, and you know, we had the busiest April last month than we've ever had. We've closed more houses, and we have more people under contract, even with this shortage in the market, than we've ever had in the history of this area in April last month. So there's still lots of houses being sold. There's still lots of people going under contract. You know, it's not like it's just closed down. So.
And lots of houses being built. I feel like every time I go on to Trulia, there's a new development being built.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for you? I don't think these contractors are keeping up with the demand. Mm-hmm. But
well, and it's interesting. Typically, and it's always been the case here. You know, it's super competitive. So a lot of buyers, if they have the time and, you know, they can wait it out for new construction, they've always been driven to new construction. Currently, even new construction is getting out of control. They're asking for highest and best on stuff like that that's coming to market, and it's super competitive there too. So why is that? Anybody been to Lowe's and bought anything lately? I mean, I bought a sheet of plywood, and I was like, do you guys give out free underwear with that? I mean, it's out of control, literally. Like, you know, so the lumber prices are up 308% since the pandemic hit, literally. So
thank God you built your axe throwing board last year.
My deck. kidding me? That deck.
How much do you think you can sell the axe throwing target for right now? Bidding starts at $50,000.
Just for the scrap wood, right?
Seriously.
Yeah, I know. You could walk into Lowe's and probably back before the pandemic get a 2x4. Like
yep, $3-4 bucks.
$3-4.
Yep.
Yeah, it's doubled that.
Triple that. Yeah, yeah. So builders are facing supply chain, distribution problems like everybody is in the country. We have brand new trucks sitting around. They don't have computer chips. We can't go buy a brand new car anymore hardly at all, or new trucks or vans. So it's like everything. They're having pandemic fallout across the board in this country from that, and stuff that we never thought would even be possible, and we had no way of forecasting. So just like everybody, the new construction's been hit like that too. Lumber prices obviously up. I had to wait 3-4 months for a dishwasher for our house, and builders are having the same problem. They're saying they're 12 to 16 weeks for windows, for siding, for all this stuff that goes into a house. And what's that doing? That's just pushing back more and more for the availability for new houses to be built. It's just taking longer and longer. And then they have, your gas companies and electric companies and water companies, they're all way behind because they've been dealing with shortage problems from their workforce that had COVID, and then they had to quarantine. So they're in a backlog. And then, so if you can't get new electric to your new house, then how are you going to live there? So it's a real problem within a lot of different areas, obviously. So
are we going back to kerosene lamps and candles?
That would kind of be ideal. That's kind of sexy.
How about the not the porta potties, but the outhouses?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to piss.
How do they work? That's a real question. I mean, you're old enough, you would know. So, do you empty out the outhouse, or is there just a hole in the ground?
Typically, there's a hole, and it gets filled up, and you move your outhouse, and you just dig a new hole.
There you go. Rob's got all the information.
Yeah.
Duly noted. No, good to know for when I just set up a tent in the woods and wash my clothes in the
hopefully not in that same hole.
No, now I know. Now I know to move my hole.
Exactly.
So this, I guess, earlier in the year when I was younger and naive and full of hope, I was interested. I thought I could afford to buy a house, and you and I sat down and we talked logistics about that. And one of my concerns that I brought up was, I'm considering the shortage and the backlog and all these components that go into a house are so far behind or unavailable or marked up like crazy. Mm-hmm. What are contractors using? When I, turn the key and go into my new house, is it going to look like IKEA? What are we looking at here?
I mean, of course not. They still have to follow the same codes that they've always had to follow. They're still getting inspected by the state a lot of times. And I recommend, even when you're buying even a new construction home, have your own personal inspector come out and inspect that house. You're still, they still have to mandate the same building codes and procedures that they've always had to. So, really, it's a waiting game now. So they're waiting for all this stuff, and then they're tagging, an average house right now with the prices of the materials and goods, it's adding $50,000 to the price of a new home right now just because of that. So, now we're so now that's going to start. It all adds up to why the prices are going up. So if your new construction's $400, now your resales are going to be starting to creep up towards that too. It's the same thing: shortage, supply, demand, and your prices go up. So there's also another big thing that nobody really is talking about, but it's been going on for years, and it's really gotten heightened in the pandemic, is the labor shortage of people that are qualified, skilled, hands-on labor guys out there. During when the pandemic hit, we lost a lot of workforce. People are on unemployment. We didn't know what was going to happen, and everybody's been affected by that, every company, of course. But a lot of these guys aren't back to work yet, and we were already as a national, or as a nation, we were behind in carpenters and electricians and HVAC guys and all that. And even now it's even worse than it was prior to COVID. These guys are retiring and getting older.
So this is not a realty question.
Sure.
But this is more so just kind of open to
another outhouse question.
Sure. I mean, I thought it was super applicable for Mike here, who's 100 years old. But I'm thinking, in the United States, the drive is to go to college, get a degree, get a job that requires that degree.
Sure.
And there's very little influence on, blue collar laborers.
Right.
Like there's so much that can be done and said for the people who go in and do the dirty work.
Yeah.
So do you think that is a contributor to the shortage of people who can do the things we need them to do to build a house?
100%. And before real estate, I was running big HVAC companies, and that's what we dealt with all the time. And I always said, if you come and walk in the door and you're a young guy and you're willing to learn and you can move your hands and use your hands and doing productive things, we'll hire you and train you in a second. And he's got, even back then, they're getting way more than minimum wage, earning your, job, your education on the job and growing and growing and growing. And then, bam, you have a great profession, making great money, and you can go anywhere in the country and have a job, So it's a whole conversation we can have another time, of course.
Those are dying trades, man.
100%.
Those are dying, and I hate to say it, Laura thinks I'm old, but back in the 90s when I was in high school, you were what, 5 or 4?
Well, what year in the 90s?
We're talking you were 2.
In 92?
91 through 94 is when I was in high school.
Okay, yeah, 2, 3, 4.
You got me by 3-4 years, so we're pretty close.
It's fine. He's ancient.
Yeah.
Well,
me too.
So carpentry, mechanics, HVAC, those were all offered in high school as trades. And now, with the changing political climate and the progressive left and this whole movement that's going on now with the younger Americans, I don't even want to say that the geriatric, there's different millennials now, right? There's geriatric millennials and there's millennials.
Are you a geriatric millennial?
No, I'm a Gen Xer, I think. Yeah.
That's what I am, a Gen Xer. You got to be, yeah.
So it's whatever
I
you
feel
are.
like a geriatric millennial every day I wake up.
No, you have to be 80. You have to be born in 85.
Feel geriatric every morning when I wake up.
You don't look that geriatric, though.
Great,
no,
thanks.
That's what she was going for, Rob. She wanted us to say.
Exactly.
But, so I don't think that this generation wants to do those type of things. And I hate to say it because, now I heard something on the news yesterday, as a matter of fact. President Biden is on the 15th of every month giving $250 to families.
Per kid.
So if
every month.
Oh, fucking shit. Guess I better start pushing them out.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think it's this generation. It started with our generation. They had the same programs when I was in high school. I didn't take advantage of it because it was poo-pooed on. Everybody make fun of you. We went to the BOCES programs and all that stuff. I'm and I had the same talk with my kids. They're no, I'm not going to be pooed on and made fun of. And I'm the kids that are making fun of you would only know what real life is, and you can get out of that BOCES program and go make $20-something an hour, literally, and doing nothing. You don't have to. You have no debt from college. You have a job anywhere you want to go.
But there's more kids our age, doing it than there are these ones in high school now, are the ones that graduated college now.
Well, I think that
guys, this is straight up capitalism, is what's happening. We are raising generations of people who believe that blue-collar labor work is not lucrative.
Right.
It's not indicative of success. And this is how our parents raised us. This is how parents today are raising their kids. Go to college, be in debt for the rest of your life so you can gain a livable earning wage, and the rate of capitalistic growth, that livable wage is not livable anymore.
Especially when you factor in you're paying hundreds, almost thousands sometimes of dollars just in student loans.
Yeah.
And people are paying more than their mortgages a lot of times just for student debt.
Finally paid off my student loans last summer. I don't have a degree to show for it. And that's, I know I'm not alone in that. Yes, I know I'm not alone in that. In fact, I think we've got to shift the mindset of kids going into college, kids listening to their parents and going, oh, I have to go to college. And it's like, it's such a toxic system where we're raising kids to believe they're only going to be successful if they feed hundreds of thousands of dollars into this higher education system that gives them nothing back in return.
We know who's to blame, though. So, like, we can blame it on the schools. That's who's promoting it. I think as parents we're at fault. We don't want I don't want my kids, like, necessarily to be crawling around in attics and in crawl spaces and get beat up every day and, tearing apart furnaces and all, or who knows, whatever else. People, they want better for their kids. So they'd much rather see your kids be like, you're president of this company and you're making all kinds of hundreds of thousands of dollars and doing all this stuff, but that's not a reality either.
That doesn't. That's start in a filthy attic somewhere.
Exactly. That's exactly my point.
At 16, I remember pushing a dust mop across the floor of a fashion retailer, and my manager was watching me do it, and I was just thinking to myself, like, I'm not going to do this one day. But I had so much value in pushing that dust mop and feeling like Pigpen at the end of the day, so that I could be that boss who was teaching the next generation of people how to push a dust
and
mop.
I'm all about that. My daughter's had her job since she just bought her house. She's 22 years old. She bought it when she's 21. Like, she's everything on her own. She didn't take anything from anybody. Work. And that was how I kind of raised my kids. I didn't graduate high school, about Rob Brown and the side effect here, but I didn't graduate high school, and I worked my way up in an HVAC company. The one in New York I was at like 15 years. For the first 6 or 7, I was the same thing. I was a grunt, doing everything I could do to learn, like everything. Started at the bottom, but in that time, I was also working up, like doing better things, staying late, working extra hours, doing whatever I could. Yeah. And in year number 8, 9, 10, now I was running the company all of a sudden, and it wasn't a 2 or 3 person. This is a massive company,
But see, that's the problem, man. Kids nowadays don't have that mentality,
right?
At least a high percentage of them.
Sure.
And it's. You, as a parent, you can teach your kids the right way. You can teach them ethics, and you can teach them, I grew up blue collar, and I earned everything that I got.
Right.
I made something of myself. Once they leave the house, go to college, and they start listening to some of these professors out there, because majority of the professors in these colleges are teaching crazy, like, socialist beliefs, and it's instilling all that in their heads, and that generation's coming out and is going to lead this country in the future. So you can go down the road right now and you can pass by Bojangles, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, every fast food place here in Button or Creedmoor. All of them are hiring.
Yeah.
Some of them have to shut down because they don't have employees
any staff, right?
to man the restaurant.
Well, that's... I've got issues around all that.
But pretty soon, people aren't going to be able to get their Egg McMuffin anymore. It's going to be a thing of the past.
That's going to be like the gas shortage. Some people are going to be going through ordering 15 of them for the week. Like it's.
Which also opens another can of worms.
Right.
And also makes me think this is why the southwest border is open, because those people want to come in and they want jobs.
That's right.
So how about backfill these jobs with these people and also let them vote Democrat? Sorry, I didn't mean to go there, but I did.
Here we are.
What's up?
He went there.
And here we are.
There. Those jobs at Bojangles, at McDonald's, at Pizza Hut, the problem is these corporations are paying for individuals who don't have to build a life and a livelihood around that income. So we're talking kids who go to the local high school who are of age to put in the labor at Bojangles, McDonald's, and Pizza Hut. They just want some extra cash. Maybe they'll put it aside. Maybe they want a car. Maybe they're putting it in their college fund. That's not intended for people to, pay a mortgage on.
No, it's not a livable wage. It was never meant to be, though, either, And that's, that's just pawns another sidestep on how do we get the people that are working there, that are older, that are trying to support their families and trying to do all that stuff. How do we get them out of that environment into a livable wage? And, now we're talking about middle class in this country and how that's broken. Like, we can spawn this into 5 months of stuff, Mike. I told you, man. I got all kinds of stuff to talk about.
Took the words out of my mouth. Where, I've been fortunate that I've built my career literally around like one of the first jobs I've ever had. Did I intend that? No, but it just so happens this is something I was really good at. This is something I was really passionate about, and I was able to build a livable career off of it. Mm-hmm. Is that still feasible in these chain fast food restaurants? And I think certain corporations are not following suit in that. Can these fast food restaurant managers live and support their families and pay a mortgage and their bills on that wage?
Well, personally, it won't affect me if the fast food industry goes under.
Zero.
I mean, I don't eat the crap
ever.
Anyway, so
I look like I do, but I really don't.
Bro, I've tasted your cooking before. You don't need to eat.
That's right.
So
but like Chipotle, if Chipotle is the one that goes under, I will be upset. Chipotle and Chick-fil-A, we need those.
Oh my God! I can make you a Chipotle burrito bowl right now.
No, will not taste the same. It's so easy. The seasoning and no.
It's rice and beans.
But anyway, so with these new tax credits coming every month, nobody wants to work. Those people that were working in the fast food joints are probably ones getting tax credits. So,
and honestly, that's a problem that we've been having. People are able to work or live on unemployment with the extra credits and the extra stimulus money and all that stuff, and they're making same or close or more than when they're going to work.
So why not stay home and make the same amount of money?
So why aren't corporations matching and exceeding a livable income wage to pay these people?
Well, that goes back to the same thing. How's McDonald's going to pay each of their people that are in there flipping burgers $40,000 a year or $50,000 a year so they can live on that?
How much does a single McDonald's franchise make in a year?
Not as much as you think. I promise. I don't know exactly.
I mean, as someone who has literally not bought a McDonald's and...
Well, I mean, they would have to up the menu. They would have to up the prices on the menu. Your 99-cent cheeseburger is going to go to $1.99.
Right.
Okay,
Big Mac's going to cost the same as a burger from like
nonsense
Bad
that's
Daddy's.
Slapped on that bun worth 99 cents? What is
that?
No,
it's not. It's not worth it. It's not worth 50 cents. Ugh.
Kangaroo meat.
So where is the money going? What?
Kangaroo meat or something. I don't know.
I feel like imported kangaroo meat is a little more expensive.
Maybe.
Man,
I don't know.
Anyway, that went off on a tangent.
Always does. But yeah, so we have some good news with new home construction here. Yeah. So the National Association of Home Builders predict that for the first time in a couple decades, we're actually going to be building 1 million new houses in this country this year. So that's some good news. They're trying to obviously come back. They understand where the market is. They want to make their money too, building new houses. So we can get materials. There's a bunch of stuff going on politically with tariffs in Canada on getting lumber here from current administration and honestly past administrations and stuff. So that's a lot of the problem with the lumber shortages and obviously COVID. That's the whole thing. But that's some good news. So they're really ramping up and trying to grow. So
I guess my next question is, where are these millions of new houses going?
Somewhere where a forest used to be.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean, look around.
That's sad to me.
More displaced animals.
That's sad to me.
Kim and I were just talking the other day, like South Durham. I mean, all the houses there were built in the 90s, 2000s. The mall was built then. Like, that all used to be tobacco fields forever. Like, that was all that was there for years and years. And then, it's just booming up. You look around here when, your neighborhood's not 50 years old. That's what's happening. They're just... Johnson County is the fastest growing county in all of North Carolina. So what used to be in Johnson County? Farmland as far as the eye can see.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
Literally
I mean, they're just exactly. That's why they're widening 40 and it's growing. It has to go somewhere. So
God, all these people moving here. They got to tighten up the interstate section.
So now I'm just thinking
infrastructure,
about
right?
30, 40, 50 years from now, we are going to New York. People are going to move to Raleigh. The economy is going to just skyrocket here. Housing is going to go up. Living wages are going to go up. And then people are going to be losing jobs because corporations that are here can afford to pay people who are already living here. And they're going to leave.
It's going to be a balancing act, I think. We still have tons and tons of jobs coming in here. Apple just said they're doing a new Raleigh hub, $1 billion headquarters in Raleigh, hiring 2,500 jobs. And these aren't minimum wage jobs they're hiring. We have tons of growth coming on and great jobs. They're moving here. They can pull right from the local universities for all their talent. Go back to the same thing. Taxes, opportunity, people working, and they go up the north. We just don't have that. It's not business-friendly states. So,
yeah, I'm kind of wondering how New York and California is going to make it out of this.
They're not
losing all these people out of their state. I mean,
I own a house up there. People are complaining about taxes down here, and I'm like, so my taxes here are $3,500 a year. My taxes up there are about $1,000 a month. So yeah.
Well, I mean,
literally.
Yeah, we were at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and one of Laura's friends I was talking with about real estate, and he lives in Washington, D.C., something like that.
Who was it? Ramon.
Ramon.
Yeah, Ramon lives in Northern Virginia.
Well, anyway, so we were talking about housing here, and I told him how much my house was, how much I paid for it, and his jaw dropped. He was like, oh, my God. Because to me, it's expensive now. Paying $250,000, $300,000 for a house, for me, is a lot because I'm single and my one wage, my one salary can't pay $1,600, $1,800 a month for a mortgage. He was like, "Oh my God, that's so cheap!"
Right?
That's so cheap because they're paying $18,000 to $2,000 for a studio.
Yeah, a minimum.
Yeah.
My apartment in Northern Virginia, when I lived in Northern Virginia, D.C., same floor plan as the one I'm in now, same square feet. $500 more than what I'm paying for the exact same one here.
And to buy that same property, that same thing, it's also more expensive out there to purchase it. But then you got to add in your taxes that are 3 or 4 times what they are here, and all the your homeowners insurance is typically higher. So you're paying for $1,500 a month here could easily be $3, $4, $5,000 there for the same basic house that you have here. Hence why everybody's moving down here.
Oh yeah, no blue collar workers in their right mind are going to stay in New York.
Right.
I get it. Some people they're bedded down there. That's where they live. That's where they're from. I know people. They want to leave, but they can't because they got family and all that. They're kind of trapped.
Yeah.
But
that was me for years.
Everybody else, I'd be out of that motherfucker, man.
Yep.
Like that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for sure. So, yeah. So thank you for not asking about the obvious question. I get asked literally 30 times a day. This has got to be a bubble, isn't it?
Well, how about you ask yourself that question?
Is this a bubble? I don't think so. So, in my opinion, this is not 2006, 2008. So that was a mortgage and a financial crisis. This is not that. This is a shortage problem, we don't have any inventory. So credit's still tight. Lenders aren't issuing risky loans like they were back then. The introductory periods, teaser rates, and balloon payments that were comprised of 40% of the loans back then. We're only doing about 1 or 2% of those loans these days. So I don't think that's the same. I don't think we're on the same page then. It's obviously the national shortage. And there was also a lot of people that were in that time frame. All those homes that they foreclosed on, a lot were in Florida at the beach. Those were people's second and third homes. And then when the financial crisis hit, what's the first ones to go? They're just going to stop making those payments. They'll keep the payments on the house they live in. And people, back then, the appraisers were in bed basically with the mortgage company. So, they would, we need to secure that loan, so we're just going to appraise that $500,000 house that's really worth $250 for $500, so they can get the loan and make it happen. And then when they went to sell, when the crisis hit, their house isn't worth what they just paid for it, and now they foreclosed on it. So that was a real big problem, obviously, back then. Yeah. Currently, we're having tons of problems. I say problems. I think it's a good thing that, as much as I hate it, and as much as it's tough for my clients, appraisals aren't coming in where we're putting offers in a lot of times, and it's a pain and it's tough. People have to make up that difference. If you put an offer in for $300,000 and the appraises for $290,000. Somebody's got to come up with that $10,000 difference. So, and most times it's going to be the buyer, because the seller will say, well, if you're not going to pay it, I'll move on to the next offer. Somebody else will. Right. So, I always have to prepare clients for that potential, downfall at some point. But in reality, it's a good thing. They're doing their job. appraising houses for what they see the market is worth. I don't agree with them all the time, but that's the way it is. So I think that's a major difference too. So I don't think, in my opinion, that this is a bubble. The National Association of Realtors is saying that obviously the prices are up. They're going to continue to go up. Even they talked about till we get some of this inventory problems taken care of. But the prices aren't going to come back down because
it's where it's at.
Yeah,
so it'll never go back down.
Right, and it's just going to continue to go up. So if you have an opportunity to buy, from what all the experts, everybody's saying, it ain't coming back down. So buy now. I mean, there's people that bought a year ago that it can sell and making a ton of money right now, which is unheard of in real estate. Typically, I tell clients you want to plan for 5 years before you even think about selling. You got to pay the realtor on the other side, taxes, all the money that you lose, and you got to build that equity back in your house, and that takes minimum 5 years. But anymore with this crazy market, not that anybody can predict what it's going to do in a year, but I mean, people are making killings, which is great on one side if you're a seller, but not great if you're trying to buy.
Oh, this market humbled me a couple of months ago. I've bought 1, 2, 3. I've bought 4 houses in my life. Okay. And all of these houses, 2 of them I had built from the floor up, and 2 of them I bought that were used. Okay, how do I say it? I guess I went into this cocky because I was kind of like arrogant. I've every house I put in for, I've got.
Yeah. And you didn't know. I mean, obviously, you're not a realtor. You're not dealing with this every day.
And it wasn't even sometimes, I didn't have to put down like $500 due diligence. One time it was a grand due diligence.
Sure.
But this time, so I went on Zillow and seen the house and clicked that little button that said contact realtor.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so I did that. 2 minutes later,
your phone's ringing.
My phone rings.
Yep.
Okay. So I talked to this guy, and I'm like, look, I really like this house, man. It's kind of small, but it's got a big a shop in the back. I could put up my gym equipment and all this other stuff. So we go and look at it, and I'm like, wow, fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I'd already got pre-approved. I was ready to rock. I was going to use my VA loan. So we put in a nice offer. I think I offered $2,000 due diligence, which I was like, oh God, I don't know.
That's terrible.
With that.
Right.
So I can offer it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be writing that in blood. Right.
It's terrible.
And so like a week goes by, all these other offers are coming in, and he couldn't tell us, why we were turned down, but he was kind of like, well, I think you not having a conventional loan was kind of your downfall. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people don't like to mess with VA because it's a lot more of a pain in the ass to the.
They have
that's what I was told.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Well, most realtors don't even know. I mean, honestly, the only difference is it's a government-backed loan. It works great for the vets. As you know, you did 0 down, obviously. Yeah. The big thing is their appraisal and honesty, their home inspection. The VA does their home inspection / appraisal. They don't want vets to move into a house. That's going to be terrible. And they're taking 100% of the risk on that house. So they're covering 100% of the debt. So the bank wants to make sure that you're not walking in and having some pitfall, money pit, crazy scenario. In this market, you get up into Alaska, there are houses up there that are shacks, they're falling in, and VA won't approve them. I've never had a problem with a VA loan here, and I do a lot of them. Their inspectors are like, because all the houses are, so to speak, nice houses, they're not falling in, whatever. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you're 100% backed by the government, the veteran. So, I mean, I don't know. I have really good luck with them. So I think it's educating people, honestly.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. It was like somebody sucker punched me in the stomach. I was like, oh, really? Oh my God, they turned me down. I can't believe it. Because I even offered them more for the house.
Yeah.
What was it listed for? It was like $230,000.
I don't remember. Your offer was several thousand over asking.
Yeah. So I was hurt, man. I was like, well, that's it. I'm not going to fuck, because that was the house.
Yeah.
Someone just can't handle rejection very well.
It really hurt, man.
And that happens.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a house in the country.
Yeah.
With acreage.
Sure.
And no HOA. That is imperative because HOAs suck.
And you can listen to that episode of Hammered on
Coming
our
up next.
YouTube channel.
No, it's
like
already out
and subscribe, kids.
I think you're in the same situation everybody is. I mean, there's if you're a buyer right now and you haven't gotten a situation, I've heard some buyers that are doing 5, 6, 8 different offers and nothing getting accepted. They're getting frustrated and they're just going to end up renting. And honestly, that's probably one of the better things to do right now is kind of relax a little, sit back, let the market cool down, let it recover, get some of this stuff going on that's been going on. This COVID stuff will start working its way out. It already has. People are going to start selling their houses, moving, doing all that stuff, and it's going to ease up back on the market. We're like I said, building more homes. Once that kind of gets back to normal, they can procure all the materials they need. That's going to help, obviously, the market. So price, probably not, but at least inventory. I think coming up in the next year or two, that's, the best thing to do if you can wait. And waiting's not a bad thing. I always tell everybody, don't be in a hurry when you're buying a house. That's the worst thing you can do. Save for your down payments, save for potential stuff coming up. I mean, you and I had that same talk. Don't be in a hurry. It's the biggest investment of your life. Take your time. Don't get the first thing you look at unless it's perfect. But you want to. It's an emotional purchase, obviously, but you want to be educated and feel good about what you're doing. You don't want to get in 6 months and be like, oh my God, I hate this house, and call me and be like, Rob, trying to sell this son of a gun. I hate it.
But I also feel like the market is actively working against that advice, where there's such a sense of urgency to just fucking buy the house.
Yeah.
That, people are buying houses sight unseen, no inspections, just give me the fucking house, and overpaying by hundreds of thousands. And
sure,
that's...
And right now, 40% of the houses that are getting sold right now are to first-time home buyers. So I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, and it's not advice I give. What people do, obviously, against my advice, hey, I whatever. I don't, but I always say, you got to plan for this stuff. It's not a one-day process. And, I say that my daughter did the same thing. She bought the house sight unseen. And, she called me. She's like, hey, Dad, I'm thinking about buying a house. She lives up in New York. So I was like, all right. I put her with a lender up there, some other people I'm in contact with. 2 days later, she's like, I'm under contract. I'm like, okay.
Do you see a lot of your clients just selling their homes just to get the money, just to get the equity, and then moving into apartments?
I've seen a little bit of that, honestly, and I always say too, at some point, if you plan on buying again, you can wait. That's a fine idea. Interest rates are so low. I think they're going to stay low for a while. For people that don't know, interest rates are huge right now. They're down 2%, 2.5%. It's crazy. And for every 1% that you save on your interest rate on your loan, on an average price house, is around $200 a month on 1% of interest, which equals about $70,000 over your life of your loan. So 1% is a huge number. That's why people are flocking, because the interest rates are so low. So the federal government's going to increase that. That's going to take away some buying power and put less people out there, I think, too. So I think there's a lot of things that are potentially going to happen that can slow the market. I don't have a crystal ball, though, obviously. So.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, you're out of here.
You're a wizard.
You're hammered. You're out of here.
Oh, my God. Did Rob just come up with your new, catchphrase?
Mm-hmm.
You're hammered? What?
Rob just yelled at you that you're hammered.
Well, I was saying in terms of him saying it to me, though. Okay. We'll see.
Anyway.
So the advice, I have some different advice for different buyers. Obviously, get with a realtor that you can trust and you like and you have fun working with and have, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't obviously have to be me. There's 15,000 realtors or something like that in the triangle.
That's what I wanted to ask you. So, professionally, how is this affecting you right now? Because there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of realtors in the Triangle area. It seems like, me personally, I know 20.
Sure.
So
Everybody does.
Everybody knows 20. So it's is it competitive right now? Are you
it always has been. But, if you talk to most realtors, how much business are they doing? So, we're on, everything. 80% of our business at our firm is done by the 20% of the realtors. So we have 400 agents in our office. We're the largest real estate office in the whole Triangle, the second or third highest producing office in the whole country. But not majority of the people in there. So maybe 1 or 2 houses a year.
Do you guys fear Mark Spain?
No. Not even
really.
Not even.
He is all over the place.
He's great. He's a great advertiser.
Well, he's an
that's what he does well.
Marketing
Marketing is great. Yeah. Yep.
He's all over. I mean, we drove from Florida. His Mark Spain billboards.
Yeah, he's
all
everywhere.
over the East Coast. He's all over the radio.
Yeah, he's killing it. He really is. But he's everybody has to remember, why is he buying all these houses? It's not for personal use. He's buying them on the cheap to sell and make money. So why would you do that if you can just make the money on your own and not have to deal with him?
I got to tell you, man. I mean, to be as well known as he is all over the place, which he has successfully done, he's only worth $600,000. We looked him up; his net worth is only $600,000.
Why is that?
I don't. He's not making money somewhere. He's spending a lot in advertisements.
Yeah, well, that's it.
But you know who Mark Spain is.
But it's working for him, since you've said Mark Spain 7 times in the last 2 minutes.
That's okay.
So
No, everybody's going to be like, "Who the fuck is Mark Spain?"
No, I think everybody knows.
everyone knows.
It's like Amazon
Listens to a local radio
Right.
station. Everyone knows who Mark Spain is.
Yeah. I actually sent him an email to see if he'd be on the podcast. I'm sure I will never hear from that.
Probably not.
Well, good thing, because we got Rob Brown.
That's true. I mean,
We don't need him anymore.
that's right.
Clearly.
After this show, everybody's going to know who
What
Rob
a
Brown
boring
is.
interview that would be. I'm Mark Spain.
Yeah, he's probably exactly.
And that would be the whole hour.
Yeah.
I'm Mark Spain.
He'd probably have a sign right here on his shoulder. It'd be
And-
it'd be awkward quick.
Just a billboard.
Yeah, that's right.
Be like, hey, can I put my billboard up here?
How about we just add it right here on the screen, and we'll just have his billboard up the whole
In fact,
time.
there would be no video. It would just be his business card is just taking up the video screen.
All right, anyway, so we need to make a movement to get Rob's billboard up from South Florida all the way up to...
We're in it.
Let's just go to New York.
Yeah, New York. Why not? Yeah, I got.
You're selling a house in New York.
Yeah, let's
this
do
is
it.
your house,
Yeah,
right?
let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Okay.
So I was sitting here thinking, and with the prices of the houses going up, I mean, realtors, when you do get a chance to sell a house, at least you're making more money, right? I mean, so
in
for
theory,
a
yeah.
selling realtor, you got to like this a little bit, right?
I mean, ish. I mean, I'm not in it really. I mean, everybody goes to work for the money or whatever. But like I always tell everybody, do the right thing, treat people how you want to be treated. The money, always follow that. So I'm not going out and being like, think about it. So we're making 3% or whatever on $100,000. That's $3,000. So I mean, is that going to make or break anybody? We went up $15,000. So all right, in the last 3 months. So what's that? $300? Like. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the number I'm looking for. That's not why I got a bag. So I'm like, extra $300. You know what I mean? To me, it's irrelevant. Honestly, it's I always work for repeat business, which I get a lot of, and I get tons and tons of referrals. That's where I strive for. So
well, let's just say a person like me, retirement's coming up, and I need a second job, and I'm like, hey, I think being a real estate agent, might pass the time.
Sure.
What's a person got to do? What's the starting blocks from A to Z?
You got to go to school for it's like 100 hours. Pass that school test, and then you have a state and national test you pass, or you have to pass, obviously. Those, I think there's like a 3% success rate or something like that for both of those if you pass at the same time. They're pretty tough. I mean, for most people have a hard time with it.
Damn, it's like a bar exam?
Yeah, I mean, similar. I mean, same
Yeah.
idea. I mean, that's from North Carolina, and then the national, level, and then you're called a PB, probationary, realtor, and you can go broker. Then you can go and start selling, and buying and selling, and then you have to do. I think it's 120 hours of continuing education after that to get rid of your provisionary status, and then. Every year you got to pay your renewal fees and your association of realtor fees and all the fees, and do continuing education classes, and that's it really.
How long have you been a realtor?
I'm at 4 years now, something like that, 4 or 5 years.
What made you want to be a realtor?
I mean, look at it. It's just so much fun.
I mean, clearly.
I mean, honestly, I love it. I'm people. That's what I love, dealing with people. That's why I work with mostly first-time home buyers. I just love it. I love the excitement of it. I love, their emotion they get into it and how happy they are. And, it's just, for me, I just love it. I love people. I come from construction and HVAC, so I have a really good feel and eye for houses that most people don't. And I used to teach sales guys and stuff. It's just like a natural progression for me to get into this side of things. So I don't know.
Okay, so we all love people, all right. We all.
That's
love
not
people.
true.
That is
Michael,
not true.
you
But
do
hold
not
on.
love anybody, but carry on.
So, We all encounter these people where you're like, oh my God, fuck, I can't wait till I never see these people again.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had that
all the time
happen to you?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about it?
I mean, there's just people that I don't want to work with, They have a bad attitude and they think that they can boss me around and whatever. I'm an independent contractor, so I can say, yeah, call somebody else. There's 15,000 realtors. Find somebody else that want to work with.
Can you think of an example of you were showing a house to someone and they were just like,
I honestly, the few people that I've said to go find another realtor for, I never even got to show a house to. I just, like you and I, we met, we kind of go over all this stuff, and they're very short and nasty or whatever, and I'm like, meh, done. Have fun. I don't want to be talked down to or treated like I'm an idiot, and I'm like, you called me, I'm the professional here, and, don't talk to me like I'm stupid. So.
Oh man, you're better than me. They wouldn't even have got like the whole conversation out. I just click, just bam.
We'll see ya.
Yeah, I'm the worst, man. Like if somebody calls me like a telemarketer or something like that, I don't have the conversation, unless I'm fucking around with them and I give it back to them. Usually, I can tell I just hang up on them. She's like, Michael.
I don't cold call people. I can't handle that all the time. It's very stressful. It is. I don't know. I most like all my stuff is all referrals and stuff like that. So, yeah, I have a hard time calling people every day and doing. I've done that with real estate before. It's soul sucking. Because 99% of the people are like, "Why the f are you calling me?" and slam the phone down. Like,
yeah,
I can't handle that rejection every day. It's terrible.
And that's I'm that guy on the other end of the phone. It's like, why the fuck are you calling?
Right.
Because if I need your business, I'll call you.
We'll know where you are. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know it. I shouldn't be like that, but I just am. It's just my personality.
Sure.
I don't like to be
because you love people so much, clearly.
Yeah, clearly. But hey, you know what time it is? It's time for Hammer Trivia.
Yay!
All right, so Rob.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've seen an episode before. You know how this works. So every guest we have goes up against Miss Laura in trivia. Oh, and she is looking at my screen trying to cheat already.
I'm not looking at the screen.
Perfect.
I've never cheated.
All right, so
this is. By the way, Laura kicks my butt in every game that we ever played. I think so.
There's that.
So there should be. We should just have a continuation of that.
Thank you, Rob.
I don't know, man. These questions
you.
are pretty intense tonight. I mean,
oh, good.
You might have to have a PhD to answer these.
So, how is Rob or
Neither of us have a PhD. No one in this room has a PhD. That's why we're recording a podcast.
Did I tell you I didn't graduate high school earlier? Or did you miss that? Okay,
yeah,
we're good. Let's go.
All caught that. Nobody here.
I'm just kidding. I'm ready. Let's do
answer
it.
these questions.
True or false?
So here we go, kiddos. It's not true or false. It's multiple choice, 4 answers. So Rob, the way this works is there's 6 questions. You're going to start off first with the first one, since you're our guest. Today's quiz is on apples. Apples.
I think
Since we started the show with the apple thing.
I feel good about this.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to win this.
Rob.
Yes, sir.
During which season...
What?
I don't know who wrote this. All right. During which season apple flowers bloom?
Summer.
That is wrong, sir. Apple flowers bloom in the spring.
Oh.
You have an X. Laura, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Question number 2. During which season apple fruits ripen?
In the fall.
Annie, that is correct. Laura is on the board with 1. Rob, you are chasing Laura.
Yikes.
Going into question number 3.
See.
Here's an interesting question. As he drinks. All right.
Wet the whistle here. Get ready for some more failures.
That was straight up vodka, too. Yeah,
that's right.
That's
fine.
Glass.
That was straight vodka.
Straight vodka.
Which is the kingdom of apple? Is it Animalia, Protesta, Fungi, or Plantae?
I'm going to go with C, my original guess, because I have no idea. I'm not going to lie.
Rob, you going with C, fungi?
Apples are not a fungus.
Oh, that's, yeah.
You can pick any letter
literally
but
anything but C. I'm like, I didn't even hear him. I was just like, I'm going with C. I don't care what it is.
Well, since you know it's wrong, it was correct answer was D, Plantae.
Oh. What would your guess have been?
I assure you I would have gotten it wrong. Whichever one the rose family falls under, because apples are also a part of the rose family.
Well, I mean, if you listen at them, And 2 of them are completely.
Yeah, we're going to
out.
listen at them.
Wow.
Carry on.
You know what? She's about out of here.
She's cruising here, I think.
If you listen to the choices, all right, Animalia is definitely not one because an apple's not an animal. Fungi, it's not a mushroom.
That's a fungus.
Perfect. Thanks, Rob.
A protesta. I don't know what a protesta.
Protein of some sort, maybe?
You made up protesta?
No, this is an actual quiz by a PhD professor from Ivy University.
All right, you need to get the next one wrong so I can stand a chance here.
She's got
No
what?
promises.
She's only got one right.
I feel good
right.
about
So
it.
if she can be 1-1 here, give her the tough one.
Okay, so here we go. Which is the phylum of apple? So I don't even know what phylum means.
No.
So, all right. A, is it porifera? Porifera. Okay. B, anthropoda. C, chordata. And D, oh God, I might hurt myself saying this one. Magnoliophyta.
I feel like the questions are a little out of control. If they
Magnoliophyta.
All right, Alex Trebek, take it easy.
Can the host... I feel like I should get bonus points for the host being unable to pronounce the phylum.
I feel like the test may be out of control here.
It's Magnoliophyta.
I'm feeling good that you're going to get this one wrong.
And no, I cannot read those again.
Okay, but you can't show me. I need to see. Is the correct answer highlighted?
Actually, no, it's not.
For fuck's sake, can you show me? Because you can't pronounce these things.
Potty mouth. There it is, right there.
Is
Let me see you pronounce
phylum
it.
of apple, porifera, anthropoda, chordata,
Leophyta.
Ooh.
Now, you can't stare at it all day.
This is a part where you.
This was on Final Jeopardy last night. Yeah, like literally.
He does this to me all the time. He inserts the Jeopardy music, but I gotta think for a second. I'm going C, chordata.
C, chordata. Okay, let's see. 4.
Wow.
We spent all that time on that one word, and that was the answer.
Oh, brutal.
Magnoliophyta.
And none of us here knows how to pronounce it still.
Oh, God, just wait till you see. So here we go. What is the score now? We are 4 questions in.
I'm not. She's 1-0.
1-0.
If I don't get this, I'm a loser all the way.
Oh, God. Well,
You got this, Rob.
I feel it coming.
Tough apple question.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
What is the class of apple?
Sorry, I was getting the trophy.
So, first off, the way these questions are worded doesn't make sense to me. What is the class of apple? And your choices are A, amphibia. We're just going to put it up here.
Probably not that one.
Right here. Amphibia, mammalia, gastropoda, and magnio.
Yeah, they're the same answers as the last one. Well, not the same, but close.
It's different.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're right.
Fucked up word. So there's your choices.
So that the phylum or whatever of the apple is that D. I'm assuming the class is also not D. So I'm going to go with that C answer again. I feel like that's a home run.
Gastropoda.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how your batting average is with bases loaded. Question number 5. You picked gastropoda. I have gastropoda every night.
Oh, I thought you were being serious. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I picked the wrong one then.
All right, Rob. That is wrong.
Of course.
It is D. Magnoliophyta.
I thought that was the same one. Okay.
No, that one was Magnoliophyta.
Oh, right.
C-H-O-I-T-A. This was
There's
P-I-D-A.
The class, the phylum, the genus, and the species. So they can all sound the exact same and essentially be the exact same thing. But when you're using its scientific name, you're not going to be like...
Yeah. Well, look at you. You win. You don't have to go to the 6th question.
I'm dying to hear the
But I would love to hear the
yes.
number 6 question. I'd see what I can learn tonight.
All right, so the number 6 question is... Which is the family of apple?
Rosaceae.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That is correct.
Wow.
Look at Lauren
The
go.
Rose family.
Oh, you did say that. Look at you go.
I know something.
You're a 500 batter today. That's
the
great.
pretty girl knows something.
Or no, you're 6. Yeah, 2 out of 3. Look at that.
I got to say, I'm impressed that you won this Apple quiz.
I think you
Well, look
need
at the
to ask
competition here.
more, like,
I'm not an Apple guy, clearly.
I think you need to ask more plant questions on the podcasts, because I can tell you about some plants.
Well, get us a botanist as a guest, and we'll go with it.
Fine, I will.
All right, pressure's on you, and you could even host that episode.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, that sounds super interesting.
Oh,
Almost as interesting as the real estate market.
That's right, exactly.
I can hear like the mouse clicks of people unsubscribing.
That's right.
All 7?
I think we're up to like 20 now. Come on, maybe 21. Rob might subscribe after today.
Oh, that's a good call. I need to do that.
So,
I don't know.
Literally, the only subscribers are the people who've been on this show, and they quit.
So I'm a member of this podcast group on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's called Podcast Support Community or some shit like that. So you go up there and everybody's posting like, hey, share YouTube like for YouTube like. So basically people copy and paste their YouTube channel links up there, and you click on them and you subscribe to theirs, and they're supposed to subscribe to you back. So I've done this a couple of times. I mean, you're getting people subscribing to your channel that could give 3 fucks about it.
Anything, right?
Yeah, just to get subscribers. So I did it. I went from like 270 to 310 in probably 30 minutes.
Wow, that's pretty epic.
Oh, it was epic until 2 hours later. I go back and I'm back to 270. Because after you subscribe to theirs, they're like, oh, fuck this, I'm unsubscribe. Yeah, they go back and unsubscribe to you. So I did it. I went to all the ones I subscribed to and unsubscribed.
That'll teach them. Teach them.
An eye for an eye.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah,
Wow, it's brutal out there, guys.
Yeah, it's tough out on these streets, man.
The
Telling
things you do for subscribers. Yeah.
Don't tell us the things you've done for subscribers, please.
Well, hey, Rob, I just want to say thanks for being on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, man. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for giving us your expertise.
Any last nuggets of wisdom for home buyers out here in Raleigh?
I think things are going to start getting better. There's like 30% of people right now in America are on forbearance plans with their mortgages, which means they haven't paid their mortgage since the pandemic hit. So at some point that's going to have to come to fruition. They're going to want their money. So so I think, it's like, what is it? 1.4 million people right now or something ridiculous. So
that have not paid their mortgage since the pandemic.
Right. Because the government rolled out that plan that said, with unemployment and all that stuff going on, it's like they just forbear their mortgages and the banks couldn't really do anything about it. So there's no real set standards of what to do now, really. Banks are kind of left on their own to figure out how to get that money prepaid. So some banks are like, well, let's just refi your mortgage. But when you enter into that forbearance plan, what they forget to tell people was it's actually going to negatively affect your credit. So now they're like, well, you can't refinance your house. We can add those, 12 months of payments or whatever on to your next 3 years of payments. But, if your mortgage is $2,000 a month for 12 months, there's $25,000 or, how are you going to add that over 3? Most people can't hardly afford their houses they're in, honestly. And so you're going to add another $600 or $800 a month in their mortgage payment for the next 3 years?
Well, yeah, these are people who lost their jobs due to the pandemic.
Exactly. And if they had $20,000 sitting around, they wouldn't be in the forbearance plan.
Like me, had to start back at square one to reignite her career, in the midst of the pandemic. That's not feasible.
Yeah.
So.
And then, I've heard of people getting liens put on their house so they couldn't do anything else. So that, says basically when you sell the house, you're going to have to pay that money back. The banks want their money back. So, or people are just going to be like, you know what, I'm not dealing with any of this and just sell it. So, I think at some point that's going to start coming into play a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. Like I said, if interest rates start going up, I think that'll take just less buyers out there. It just takes money out of the buyers, which stinks, but it's going to, open up a little bit more in the market. It's tough to say, but like I say, make sure you got a good realtor, get pre-approved.
I think we know one.
Get pre-approved, talk to your financial experts, and take your time, save, plan out, and have a good game plan and go buy a new house.
That's
and if you don't have a good game plan, we know a guy.
Yeah.
We know a guy. Speaking of that, so if you need a realtor, check out my man Rob Brown. If you're living in the Raleigh Triangle area, We got Rob Brown. He is with, was that Keller
Williams Preferred, yeah, right in Briar Creek.
You got 315-406-9183, and that is Rob Brown, 2128@gmail.com.
That's it, man. Thank you so
with you,
yeah, that's perfect. Either one of those,
right.
Email or text, call. I'm ready.
All right, brother.
Thanks,
anything
man.
else? We got anything else before we sign off?
I think that's it.
You sure, Laura? Are you done?
Are you?
No more potty breaks? Because once you break the seal, I mean, it's like every 5 minutes.
Every 15, yeah.
Oh my God, I had one Arnold Palmer.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us this episode of Hammered.
Have a good night, guys.
See you next time. Peace.
That's what I get for being hydrated around here.